It's 14th of December, 1838. It's morning, and we're in London, England. A young boy is arrested and taken to Queen Square police office before being placed in a cell. He's covered in soot and smeared head to toe with bear's grease. He gives his name as Edward Cotton from Hertford, the son of a respectable tradesman, but the police suspect this isn't true. He's been found inside Buckingham Palace. When brought before the magistrate, Edward Cotton, real name Edward Jones, perhaps driven by nerves, went into what must have sounded like full-on fantasy mode. I came from Hertfordshire 12 months ago, and I met a man who asked me to go with them to Buckingham House. I went, and I've been there ever since, he told the magistrate. He insisted he'd been hiding inside the chimneys during the day and sneaking out at night, hence his somewhat blackened appearance. As expected, a 14-year-old boy claiming to have been living in Buckingham Palace caused quite a sensation amongst the popular press. Jones quickly became a minor celebrity, simply referred to as the boy by journalists and to the wider public, gaining one-name diva status before that was even a thing. That the first recorded stalker chose to pursue Queen Victoria may seem peculiar, but of course, while we think of her as an aging symbol of empire, a diamond queen who never smiled nor wore anything other than black, or an old biddy on the biscuit tin, in 1838 the queen was only 19-year-old. This queen was a young queen, upon whose shoulders the whole hopes of the nation, nay an empire, rested. In her the public saw a mirror, one of majesty that could reflect greater days and stability. Victoria's uncle and predecessor, King William IV, did not ascend to the throne until he was 64, making him the oldest king to be crowned thus far. His short reign showed little hope for Britain. This, when considered with his scaled-back coronation, age, and reluctance to move from Clarence House to Buckingham Palace, seems strangely familiar. So to the great British public and the establishment, the accession of Queen Victoria was not just a relief, but a long-hoped-for end to a crisis that had gripped the Hanover dynasty for decades. Queen Victoria embodied what William IV could not. After years of lackluster ruling, it was no surprise then that members of the public were quick to build a keen fascination with her. So Victoria was the acme to much of what her profligate predecessors had planned, and she was the first to live in the renovated Buckingham Palace, as orchestrated by her uncle George IV, yet despised by her uncle William IV. She was even the first to enjoy 2 dessert services, a collection of tableware specifically for, you guessed it, desserts. That the boy could have temporarily lived inside the chimneys of the principal palace of the British monarch, or even claimed to, may seem ridiculous to us. But it's worth remembering that the Buckingham Palace that became Queen Victoria's home in 1837 was a very different building to the one we know today. Modern-day Buckingham Palace, with its sombre wedding cake white facade, the backdrop to so many state occasions that we have seen on TV, dates back little over 100 years. Victoria's palace was a brand new honey-coloured riot of carvings, with the iconic marble arch as its front door. What began as Buckingham House in 1703 was purchased for the mere sum of £21,000, the equivalent of 2.5 million today, by King George III in 1761, to be used as a retreat for his wife, Queen Charlotte. Consequently, it became known as the Queen's House, and was a much more modest affair than the palace we see today. Back then, it was a simple central block of brick and stone, flanked by 2 service wings. Following his accession to the throne in 1820, King George IV, or Prinny as he was widely known, had intended to turn the house into a small and comfortable home. However, our Prinny's mania for expressing himself via design led him towards a much more palatial structure. In 1826, he commissioned John Nash, the daddy of Britain's campus building, the Royal Pavilion at Brighton, to wave his magic wand over the stolid structure. Naturally, Nash revelled in the appointed title of Official Architect to the Office of Woods and Forests, and was a perfect fit for the king's growing ambitions. He'd already transformed Brighton's motley pavilion into the Indo-Islamic pleasure dome we know today, and at Buckingham Palace, his ambition was not curtailed, or at least not for the time being.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.